Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet a financial planner who's going to teach all of us about the power of now, her journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, let's be honest, many Americans spend more time debating what they're going to have for dinner tonight than they do their finances. And in many homes, talking about finances is absolutely taboo, and therefore it goes by the wayside. And that's even compounded if you're a business owner. To talk about that today, Tinja Anderson. She is a financial planner and my friend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolute pleasure. Very excited to be here.
Okay, tell us more about your journey. Did you kind of grow up around finances?
I actually didn't. I grew up inside my family's consultancy. My family owns a strategic sales communications consultancy doing value proposition development, business optimization, and then executive level coaching. So yes, there is a financial aspect of it, building value propositions, but now I get to build financial plans. So same, but different.
So as a little girl, do you remember hearing these like elevated conversations about, complicated financial matters?
My family absolutely talked about return on investment, earnings per share, market share. Yes, absolutely. Driving efficiencies, saving gains. So finances in the business sense, absolutely.
Absolutely. And we were talking before the show about an ideal client for you. So what does an ideal client look like?
A profitable, privately held organization. I love family-held companies simply because we're talking about legacy planning. We're talking about generational wealth, building it, and then how do we keep it inside the family from a cost-effective standpoint, also a tax-advantaged standpoint.
And I have to imagine sometimes you're almost a therapist because you're dealing with the owners who don't want to release control to the kids or the grandkids. So talk about that side, because in order for somebody to bring somebody like you in, they have to know, like, and trust you and know that, you're not going to judge them when they open up, their books to you and say, this is what we're dealing with.
Absolutely. So it's funny because I literally was just talking about this with one of my business partners yesterday, I was raised inside of a family where a legacy of excellence is mission critical. And so for every single family that I am working with, it is about how do we identify and prioritize the financial goals and objectives, but also understanding what the culture is that they want to maintain.
Yes.
And so how do we do that from a financial standpoint? So creating this generational bucket of wealth, but also giving them the tools to be able to be successful. And what does that actually look, sound, and feel like?
Yes, and I know you go around the country doing a lot of speaking, and you speak about the power of now. What does that mean?
Yes, so my mission is to educate, advocate, and empower business owners about the power of now with regard to strategic financial planning. Literally, 20% of businesses that go to sell actually sell.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, so that's 80% that are not able to actually harvest the wealth of that organization, and 80% of that individual business owner's wealth is tied up in the business. So we're not maximizing what their life after business looks like. And so how do we create, maximize value of the business, personal financial readiness, but also what is the preparedness for life after business actually look like, and how do we fund that?
And there's a lot of almost estate planning going on because you mentioned before the show, a tax bomb to the kids is not a gift.
It is not a gift. It is absolutely not a gift. And so I work with specialists across the country to be able to be creative in those spaces, because everybody has a CPA, everybody has an accountant, everybody has an estate planning attorney or a tax planning attorney. But from a financial advisory standpoint, yes, you have your investment advisor. What you're missing is the quarterback to look at all of those aspects and organize your financial junk drawer.
Yes, You've had a long career. You're a very young lady, but you've had a long career. We're going to show a headline. This is from Voyage Houston magazine. I love that picture, first of all.
Everything's up in the air.
It sounds like you've had several pit stops along the way. And one of them was insurance?
So in any aspect of a financial plan, protection is a mandatory aspect of it. So utilizing insurance on a larger scale to protect is priority number one in any business. How do we de-risk it? How do we build the value next? So baseline for any fundamental financial plan is how do we de-risk what this looks like?
Yes.
Also compounds for the tax side of it. And this is why, so I'm a part of something called 4 and 400, which is a FinSECA community, and we lobby every single year to protect the tax advantageous side of insurance. So insurance is a baseline component of any financial plan.
Okay, and if you're looking at her saying, I wonder why she is so poised and a great communicator, it's because she is a former Miss Texas International.
I am.
All right, let's go ahead and put this picture up. So tell us about that. So the pageant world.
Pageant world has been a whirlwind. So this was the first time I'd ever competed as an adult. I was Little Miss San Diego as a baby. And so that was quite the experience. My dad was not a fan of the pageant life as a child and put me immediately into a boys soccer team. I finished out a buy-sell 2021 with a former Mrs. USA. She held multiple other titles along with it. Powerhouse Superwoman. I jokingly asked her, what would it take? She put me through a 6-week boot camp, and then I went out to compete and won the title of Ms. Texas International 2022. And so the baseline skill set really is public speaking.
Yes.
And so my mom had me do my first public speech contest when I was 9. She's a PhD in communication, a neurolinguistic expert. And so that was just a mandatory skill set to be able to deliver content well.
And I think you told me before the show that one of your passions is really lifting and empowering the next generation of leaders. Talk about that.
Yeah, so my platform for competing this year as United States of America's Miss Houston is the pursuit of excellence. So how do we create that legacy? How do we ensure that we're building those skill sets in order to meet and exceed whatever expectations we set ourselves up for? So it truly is something that's like a soul-driven purpose.
And I love that, and I think you are, you're a Renaissance woman because you got this right brain, left brain thing going on. You're absolutely brilliant, and even to compete in a pageant and have that poise and grace. I mean, most people would crumble under that kind of pressure. So in the little time we have left, I want you to look into the camera on the left and talk to the young ladies out there who are watching this, saying, I want to be you one day. Yeah.
The definition of success is to set a goal and achieve it. Build out what that strategic execution strategy looks like, and you got this. It's if you don't try, then you never know what you're capable of. So for me, that would be an absolute privilege to cheer you on.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back again soon. We're going to leave you with her website. It's bit.ly/Power of Now. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.